What's up guys, this is Eddie. Welcome to a new video. What is controller? What are the types of controller and how to control? Let's go. Alright, so first up we're gonna look at what is controller. If you already know what controller is, you can skip the video ahead. So the controller role is basically, you can see the ring signs beside your name. That means you're in the controller role. And the controller's job is to actually give power back to your teammates. So whenever you use a superpower, let's say I use this, you can see the blue bar moving. That means I'm using my power. So if you're in a group with DPS, healer, tank, that means whenever they use superpower, they're gonna lose their power. And that's when the controller comes in. So you're gonna give them power back. That's controller's main job. Second job is to control, as the name suggests itself. Control means you're gonna debuff the enemies, you're gonna stun them, you're gonna pull them. That's controller's job. So each power, they're like quantum, hard light, munitions. So every power has different superpowers. So like this one is, it reduces the target's ability to heal. This means the boss will heal less. And this one reduces enemy defenses and stuns them. And this one reduces the target's damage output. So these three are debuffs. If you are a controller power, like gadgets, hard light, quantum, munitions, you're gonna have these three powers and you have to have them in your controller loadout. And then we have this, that is group power heal. It also buffs your group mates up to 3 group members. It increases their weapon attack damage. So these powers are a must to have as a controller. Other than that, you're gonna have obviously controller gear. If you look at the gear, it says requires role controller. That means you need to have a controller gear in order to control. And the main thing, if you go to stats, the main thing we're gonna focus on is vitalization. So the more vitalization you have, the more power you can give out. So right now 32,597 as 328 CR, and this is basically controller role. So just give power back to your group mates and debuffs the enemies and also controls the enemies. Now let's take a look at types of controllers and how to control with them. So there are 3 types of controllers: battle troll, buff troll, and battery troll. And we're gonna talk about them one by one. Let's start with battery trolling. So for battery troll, the main job of battery troll is to give power back and debuff the enemies. So battery means basically you're going to be charging your power up and charging other people's power in the group. So we're going to be focusing on vitalization. As I said before, vitalization means the more vitalization you have, it means you're going to give more power out. So focus on that. Make sure you have controller gear, make sure you have controller mods. I'm not going to get into detail because that requires another video, but yeah, get the controller mods, controller gear, and also for the base mods, get vitalization and power. So as far as spec, I'm going to quickly go through it. Make sure you get the weapon. Brawling into martial arts works really good. Super speed or flight or whatever, iconic, we don't need anything. Under stat points, we're gonna go for hybrid because it gives us 5% extra vitalization since we're focused on that. And also as a controller, you can go for dominance, since the more dominance you will have, the more crowd control you can do, which means stunning the enemies and debuffing the enemies, right? So 10, you're gonna go for critical power chance, critical power and magnitude, and then put everything in vitalization because we are focusing on battery trolling. And if you have extra skill points, you can go for might and power because that will increase your power bar. So go for that. Let's put it this. I just like to keep one extra in case I need anything. All right, let's look at let's go back here. So for battery trolling, we're gonna need artifacts, and these are the 3 artifacts I highly recommend for using as a battery troll. So first one is gonna be Amulet of Rao. So whenever you are doing a controller debuff, if you're using Amulet of Rao, your controller debuffs are gonna be 50% stronger, and it can hit up to 7 additional enemies near your target. That means, let's say if you're in the raid and if you have a boss and you're targeting the boss and he spawns some ads, and let's say there are like 6 more, 7 more ads. So if you just hit one power, let's say defense debuff, it will also debuff the enemies, all these 6 or 7 other ads near that boss. And also the controller debuffs are going to be 50% stronger. That means when you debuff the defense of a boss, let's say he has 100,000 defense. So when you do a defense debuff, it's gonna debuff him for 10%. So this means if you're using Amulet of Ra, it's going to be 50% stronger, and 50% of 10% is 5%. So that means your total debuff is going to be 15%. So it works really good. This means the more defense debuff you have, the DPSs will be able to kill it faster. That means you can do more attacks on them. The damage will be higher. So Amulet of Ra is really important. Number 2 I like to use is Scrap of the Soul Clock. That increases your maximum supercharge and supercharge generation by 27%, increases your supercharge ability cooldowns by 22.5%. And also it restores 7% maximum supercharge after using a supercharge ability. But keep note that this does not stack with extended supercharge tactical mod. So that's why I'm using Hardy, or you can use power efficiency. I use Hardy because I am also buff trolling, and I'll get to that in a bit. So whenever you pop a supercharge, it gives you some supercharge back and also reduces the supercharge ability cooldowns. So you can pop your supercharge again and again and again. So for like in this case, we have group shielding. It will shield the group members and also give them power over time. So this is the controller supercharge for hard light. So whenever I pop this, it will give me some supercharge back and reduces the cooldown of it. Number 3 is strategist card. I like to use it when I'm doing battery trolling. It applies a power over time effect, as it states in the description of strategist card. Power heal critical, apply a power over time. So it works really good. And beside that, you can also use where is this one, Parasite. So with Parasite, basically when you hit an enemy with a controller debuff, it grants you and up to 7 group members power equal to 10% of your vitalization. So you can do that. And it's also a buff artifact, which means it also gives precision equal to 1.67% of your vitalization. So it increases the precision of your group members as well. So we can use that instead of strategist card. So this is basically battery trolling, very simple, very straightforward. The main job is to give power back and to debuff the enemies. And just if you guys don't know how the debuffs looks like, there it is. So healing debuff, defense debuff, damage debuff. So if we look at the target, that's sparring target. If I do healing debuff, there's a red heart under the sparring target's name, you can see. If I do defense debuff, that's red shield. And if I do damage debuff, that's red crosshair. So that means they are debuffed. So this is battery trolling. Let's move on to buff trolling now. So for buff trolling, buff controller means you're going to be buffing up your group's stats, and which means you're going to be focusing on DPSs more than the healers or the tanks in your group. So whenever you pop a power, this means you're going to increase their might or precision. Might determines basically the damage of your superpowers, and precision determines the damage of your weapon attacks. So depending on the DPSs we have in the group, if they're might based DPS, you're gonna use certain artifacts, and if you have precision based DPSs, you're gonna use certain artifacts. But before that, we're gonna look at the gear. We're still using the controller gear. We're still using the same mods, and the specs are almost similar, but same weapon, super speed, just to get getting these two for, you know, restrain resistance and impulse resistance. Iconic powers, nothing. Stat points, hybrid, critical power chance, critical power magnitude. But since we are buff trolling, we're gonna put everything in health, not in vitalization. Everything in health first. So then you have extra skill points, go for vitalization. Why? Because we're gonna look at the artifacts now and I'm gonna tell you why. So the first one, same Amulet of Ra as battery troll. It debuffs are 50% stronger and hits up to 7 additional enemies near your target. I explained it in the battery troll section. So Amulet of Ra. The second one is gonna be Claw of, I don't know how to spell it, but just use it, Claw. So whenever you use a group weapon buff, which in this case is gonna be recharge, it says group weapon buff over here. So whenever you use a group weapon buff, it applies to you and 7 group members. Instead of 3 group members, it's going to be applied to 7 group members, and in addition grants you 7% might, restoration, and dominance. Now the 7% might, restoration, dominance is basically the percentage of the might of a DPS, right? So if the DPS has like 100,000 might, it's going to give him 7,000 might. I think that's the maths. Yeah, 7,000 might. And restoration and dominance as well, it depends on the healer and tank. So 7% is going to be the percentage of their restoration and their dominance. And also this grants you 5% critical chance and magnitude for 12 seconds. But this power, this no longer power heals. That means this power basically recharges your team and instantly revitalizes your group's 3 most fatigued members, restoring power. So the main job is of a troller. As a battery troll, you can pop this, to give them power instantly, right? But when you're running Claw, it will not restore the power instantly. Instead, it will give 7% might, dominance, and restoration, and 5% critical chance and magnitude. So it's gonna be a buff power instead of power healing power. And it also increases the passive power regeneration from your controller roll by 20%, which means you're gonna get your power back faster. And after casting your group weapon buff, gain 3% vitalization per group member. So and with planting energies on them for 12 seconds. That means you're gonna be giving them power back, and your vitalization will be increased. Now, Tetra, that's the third artifact. The Tetra, basically, when you hit an enemy with a superpower, it grants you and up to 7 group members might equal to 2% of your health. And this is the reason we were spec for health as a buff troller. So right now 197,281, and this effect doubles in controller roll. That means I'll be giving them 4% might based on my health. So let's say my might right now is 52,683. So if I hit an enemy with my superpower, it's 62,152. So that's 4% might boost based on my health. So this applies to other 7 group members. So that's why we will spec for health. Now this is for if the DPSs are might based. What if they are precision based? So in that case, you're going to be using this artifact Cog. You can replace Tetra with that. So Cog, basically whenever you hit an enemy with a cross weapon combo, it grants you and up to 7 group members precision equal to 1.25% of your health. And again, this effect is doubled in damage or controller roll. That means it's going to be precision equal to 2.50 of your percentage of your health. So you're going to be increasing their precision instead of might if you use this. And cross weapon combo means like brawling into martial arts or dual wield into bow, anything which has cross weapons in it. So Cog is the one way to go. Second one, we're going to go for Parasite, right? So Parasite, I explained before, whenever you hit an enemy with controller debuff, it grants you and up to 7 group members precision equal to 1.67% of your vitalization. But now, since we are spec for buff trolling and we are spec for health, our vitalization is really low. That means in order to use Parasite, it's best to go for battery troll, and then you use Parasite. But if you want to go for health, then you can use Cog because it's based on your health. So depending on what you're spec for, use Cog or use the Parasite. So this is basically my artifacts for buff trolling, for precision based, and if you're gonna be buffing my DPSs, this is gonna be your artifacts, these 3. This is basically the buff trolling. You buff your group mates with their might or precision stats, and also if you're running Claw, so you're gonna be buffing restoration dominance as well. So it really is really good. The only thing you're gonna be giving out is power over time. So whenever you use any power, you give power over time. Recharge is not gonna work. That means group power heal is not gonna work. It's only gonna give you might stats because you're using Claw. So this is buff trolling. Don't forget to debuff when you're buff trolling as well, because you're still using Amulet of Ra, so your debuffs are 50% stronger still. So this is buff trolling. Now let's go and take a look at battle trolling. Alright, so the third one is Battle Troll. Battle Troll explains itself. You're gonna be in battle mode, you're gonna be doing damage along with the DPSs, but you are still gonna be in troll role. So that means you're not gonna be doing as much damage as the DPSs, but you'll be helping them a lot. So Battle Troll means you're gonna be doing damage and you're gonna be debuffing. You're not gonna be doing stuns. So for the specs, they're different. As you can see, I'm 330 now. That's because I'm running DPS gear. So for battle trolling, you're gonna go for full DPS gear with complete DPS mods. And as the specs are concerned, you can go for brawling into martial arts, or you can just, if you're might-based DPS, just get 1 or 2 in the weapon and you're good to go. Super speed, gonna get those 2, and for iconics we have this one, and we can also use heat vision as well. So if extra skill points, also you can get new venom boost, but yeah. So robot sidekick, heat vision. Stat points, we're gonna spec for super powered because it gives you 10% might, extra might, and 10% power. So you're gonna be attacking with superpowers. So that's why we're gonna spec for superpower. Critical attack chance, critical attack damage, and then put everything in might and power. And then you have extra skill points, go for precision, or you can go for vitalization. But it's better, since you're in troll role, go for vitalization. So spec as DPS. As far as the artifacts are concerned, we're gonna be using Amulet of Ra, same as before. The debuffs are 50% stronger and hits up to 7 additional enemies. We're gonna be using Transformation card, which is basically a DPS artifact. You gain 20% critical chance, 30% critical magnitude, and the total damage is reduced by 15% if your Transformation card rank is 200. But it doesn't matter because you're gonna be getting so many critical attacks and your damage will be higher anyways. And the third one, we're using Claw of blah blah. So same thing, it increases your might by 7% and other group members might 7% as well. So since you're going to be might based, this is the setup you're going to run. You can also, if the group does not need this, you can replace Claw with any other artifact. You can run Strategist card. It works really good, applies power over time and also apply damage over time. So it works with Transformation card. And you can also go for Grimorium as your pet damage. So you can replace Amulet of Ra or Claw depending on the situation. Amulet of Ra, let's say you're running regular raids and you do not need your debuffs to be 50% stronger. So you can replace that with Strategist card and your damage is going to increase. And if your group does not need might buff, you can go for Grimorium and you can run complete DPS setup. But it's better to run Amulet of Ra because the debuffs are 50% stronger. Now let's say you are a precision based DPS, what are you going to do now? And because this is a build for might based controller, in order to be a battle troll who is precision based, what we're going to do is we're going to go for same DPS gear, we're going to go for same mods, and instead of specing for might, we're going to go for weapon expert, so it increases your total weapon damage. And instead of specing for might, we're going to go for precision. It will give you extra precision, means more weapon damage. So beside that, everything is same. And for the artifacts, we're still using Transformation card, Strategist card, and instead of Claw, we are using Cog. And if needed, you can change Strategist card with Amulet of Ra, depending on the situation. So Cog is gonna give you 2.50% extra precision when you do cross weapon combos. And this is the setup. Basically, we're still running damage debuff, we're still running healing debuff, we're still running defense debuff, and we're still running the group power heal. And also group power heals increase the weapon attack damage anyways, so we're still gonna run that same setup. So you're still gonna be debuffing. Oh, where did it go? Okay, so and you're still gonna be giving power. So whenever we do cross weapon, it's gonna increase our precision. So we will be giving out power, we will be doing debuffs, and we'll be still doing damage. but again, not as much as DPS is, but it will help a lot, especially like in, you know, elite raids or survival mode or stuff like that. So this is the spec for precision based battle controller, and these are the 3 types of trolling: battle troll, buff troll, battery troll. So if you have extra skill points, because like right now I'm on test server, so I have 412, but like on live I have around 480. And if you have like more than that, around 550, 600, this means you can actually do mix and match of, you know, let's say battery troll and buff troll, or buff troll and battle troll. So you can mix and match, you can get both stats. So like right now, if I'm spec for DPS, I can get, you know, other, like put 150 in vitalization, so this means I will be giving out power. Or if I go for health, this means I can put in claw as well, or sorry, tetra as well, so this will increase my might depending on my health. So that means if I have extra skill points, I can go for both roles at the same time, battery and buff. And that's about it. Buff trolling is really in right now in DC Universe Online, and for especially like elite raids, and with the new episode 40 coming out as well. So go for buff trolling. And also, I mean, it requires a lot of money to level up all these artifacts. They're like around 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, around 9 artifacts maybe. So if you want to do all 3 types of trolling, so I would suggest you go for one type of trolling, focus on that and level up those 3 artifacts, and then move on slowly to the other type of trolling. So this is it. I think I tried my best to explain everything, but still, if you have any questions, if you did not understand anything, comment in the comment section below and I'll get back to you. I'll be happy to help, and I'll see you guys next time.